So I think we are live, but I can't see the camera. Okay, welcome to the first module of Her Purpose Blog Bootcamp. My name is Shantae. I am the founder of Her Purpose. So before we get into everything, I do want to do a little quick backstory about me. 1 second. I do want to check something because I can't see myself, and I just want to make sure that the video is on for some reason. Okay, so there's no video for this, and that's okay. I do want to thank you guys for coming. So I do want to thank everyone for joining the bootcamp. This is the first module. I'm not sure if you guys read the introduction. I did want to say that before we get into everything on how to be a successful blogger and how to start your blog, there's certain things that I feel that God wanted me to address. Not just something that I overcame, but something that you can overcome too. So with that being said, I created this cute little slideshow. And this is basically purpose and identity, which is great. I just feel like whenever you deal with blogging, you really can tap into your purpose. You can tap into another level of writing, which might further. Some of you guys might start magazines. Some of you guys might start books. Some of you guys might start a publishing company. So you never know where your little blog can take you. You can start a business. You can start a brand. So before you can do any of that, you really need to identify what your purpose is, what your calling is. So I put together this, and God just gave me purpose and identity. And I'm grateful for it. And I just wanted to kind of spend a few minutes doing this for our first module. And we can, then our next module, y'all, we're going to go dig deep, deep by deep, layer by layer. So, 1 second, I want to check something. So, we're going to go to the next slide so we can get the overview of what this module is. This module is defining purpose, who you are, identity crisis, overcoming fear, stepping out of faith, and the spirit of comparison. And then we're going to stop putting that blog or putting that brand on the back burner and really, go after everything that God has for us. We're not going to have doubt. We're not going to fear. We're not going to step outside of our lane, but we're really going to go after it. So let's get started. So let me give you a little backstory about myself. My name is Shantae Richardson. I am the founder of Her Purpose, and I started blogging. I'm trying to think how long I've been blogging. 6-7 years when I first released it, my deliverance story. And I had no idea what blogging was, not really, like, to a certain extent. I didn't know that, it would turn into this. I just knew that God really, really was calling me to share my story, to share my testimony. And one act of obedience opened such a door, like such a door for me. I actually had like a few speaking engagements because of my testimony. And from there, I started a blog called Pursue Me Blog. And it was basically a relationship blog on how I would, chase God and not Boaz. And it was very encouraging for the season that I was in. But unfortunately, that blog could not carry to the next season that I was going to go in. And from there, one second. I'm so sorry about that. My family members are being kind of loud tonight. So from there, I went from Healing Melons, and then Healing Melons was a blog where I blogged about bringing awareness to Black mental health and Black girl magic. It was That was the blog when I really realized what it really took to really run a successful blog, how to bring income, because I made income through Healing Melons, and everything had really just come into together, and I knew what to do. Now, I started Her Purpose in March. I really didn't officially launch it because out of fear, and I was like, no, I'm still doing Healing Melons. I really can't do both. So I was like, one day I was like, you know what? I have so much peace about doing this. And finding your purpose, you have peace in your purpose, and your purpose is really linked to your passion. And I've always had a passion for blogging. I always had passion for helping others. And this is what I truly desire to do. So for this portion, I want you to really jot down and be like, what is my purpose? What does defining purpose mean to me? You can put it in the comments in this teachable lesson, or you can put it in the comments of this YouTube video, or you can put it in the comments or make a status about it in our Facebook group. If you're in our Facebook group, I am going to link everything in the bio. So let's continue to the next slide. Okay. Who are you? Is a great question. I remember one time I actually went to a job interview, and they were like, who are you? And I was like, you know, my name is Shantae Richardson. I'm from New York, um, and I just moved here to Atlanta, and I just kept kind of like playing with my hair because I was like, I don't know the rest of the answer. Like, who am I? Besides what I do, who am I? And in order to find your identity, you do need to know who you are in God. And I've said this time and time before on almost every video. I'm a Christian. This is a Christian man. God is the CEO. I'm just the one he just decided to use for this. So you have to know who you are in God. You have to know who your creator is in order to know who you are. And knowing who you are and dealing with blogging is so important because you can get lost in the sauce. You could be blogging on something that's not in your lane. You can find yourself your brand will have an identity crisis. Your brand won't stand out from the rest because you're trying to copy everyone else. So it is so important to know who you are so you can do what God has called you to do. And some of you, that blogging is a calling. It is what God has called you to do. And it's just the little tip of the iceberg of the calling. Meaning that some of you are going to write books. Some of you are going to write bestsellers. But in order for God he has to take you through a process. And through this process, God is going to reveal the scriber anointing onto you. So with that being said, you really want to know who your identity is. Who are you? So I want you to ask yourself, and why you're watching this or why you're listening to this, ask yourself, who are you? Write down 5 things who you are, and go from there. And it's very important to really know who you are because the next thing we're going to do is basically cover identity crisis. And an identity crisis it's so very important in this blogging game because let me tell you, you really want to stay. I think my watch is making way too much noise. You really want to know who you are because when you don't know who you are, you will step outside of your lane. You will step into something that you're not called to. You really need to know who your audience is. Who are you here to help? Who are you here to minister to? Because you can go outside of your lane. When I mean outside of your lane, for me, I'm a Christian blogger. I blog about graphic design. I blog about mental health. But if I ever try to pick up something like fashion or makeup, my friend Tanisha will be like, what do you do? Because they know that's not my lane and that's their lane. And I don't want to be like a copycat brand or anything like that. I have to be like you want to be yourself. You want your personality to shine through your brand. Throw it out. You don't want it to be like, okay, I don't know what this brand is about because one day they were talking about this, next day they were talking about that. I'm so confused. Like, what is it? And that is a major piece. You really want your brand has to have an identity. You have to have a vision for your blog, a mission statement for your blog, a brand identity. So you can't have all that if you have an identity crisis. So for this, we're not going to do an activity for this one. Just going to skip this one and we're going to go to the next one, which is overcoming fear, and faith is over fear. So many of you, I just feel like have, even when you guys sent in your questions about wanting to join the blog camp, I've seen many of you that saying that you dealt with fear. So I just really thought this would be a good opportunity to talk to you guys about fear. Fear is such a it's a stronghold, and And, you know, it can really, really stunt your growth in life. Like, you know, when I first started my blog, I was so fearful. I did not want to do this, but I knew that God was like really, really convicting me to do it. It was not an easy thing to get over fear of actually pressing the post button and pressing the create account button was like, I'm really gonna do this, Jesus. Like, I'm really gonna do this. Like, I was like, nobody's gonna read this. First of all, nobody's gonna read this, but I'm gonna go ahead and be obedient because you told me to do this, um, and everything. So, and then I heard the saying once, and it was like, your obedience is locked to a nation. So you don't know who you don't know who's going to read your post. You don't know who's going to be inspired by your post. Even though those people that are on social media that never ever mention you, never do a retweet, you don't know who's watching you because people are watching you whether you know it or not. So, you know, when you overcome fear, you know, even though no one, your blog is doesn't have like 100,000 views in, you know, in the whole time you've been doing it, but you did what you did what God told you to do. That's most important because the Bible says that obedience is better than sacrifice. So 2019, it's time for us to break out of fear and step out on faith. And we're going to step out on faith. We're going to start businesses this year. We're going to start blogs this year. We're going to invest in, you know, into our business. We're not going to be non-consistent. We're going to be consistent this year. 2019 is the year of consistency. And I just really pray that you guys really don't deal with this next one because I really heard this last one saying, I seen this post on Instagram, either Instagram or Twitter, and it said, unfollow everyone that makes you compare yourself. Just because the other girl blog, it seems like it's popping or whatnot, and she seemed like she's living the perfect life on Instagram. And okay, it's okay to be you. God did not call her; He called you. Just because the way she does things seems to work for her doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Okay, just because you know you have a certain unique anointing that God gave you to blog. So don't compare yourself. Be you and have fun. And last thing that I am going to address is we are breaking. I forgot the last post. I'm sorry. Let me go back up to the menu. And then we're going to end this module. And I will see you guys for the introduction to blogging on the next week. So excited for this to really, 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 really dive into this blogging. So you're not going to tell me how long I've been talking. Okay. That's cool. But so the last thing we are going to talk about is, you know, we are stop putting our blogs on the back burner. There's been so many times when I said, you know, I'm gonna do this little her purpose thing, and you know what? Never mind. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow I got it. Like I'm all in tomorrow. No, next week I'm all in. You know, time out for that. It's definitely time out for that. It's definitely time for us to fulfill our purposes. In 2019, we're walking into our purposes. We're walking into our calling, and everything. So I guys want you guys just to really, really, really soak up everything that you're going to get from this blog boot camp. You're not going to just get blogging tips, but you're going to get so much from it. And I'm just going to sometimes be doing just pop-up lives. So make sure you are doing on our Facebook page. Facebook group, Instagram, Twitter, everything is Her Purpose LLC. But it's time to stop putting that blog on the back burner. It's time to really put that goal that you have to start a blog or start to brand into action. The Bible says that faith without works is dead. So it's time to put in the work. You have planned it out long enough. So it's time to put all of those goals that you have written down, those dreams that you have written down, it's time to put it into work. And I'm so excited to actually help you guys through this journey. And this is just one step that I can, help you guys walk out this blog life. And I see you guys on the flip side.